Hi Aries, welcome to your love and relationship reading for the month of July. I'm trying to, upload my July videos early because I'm going to be an auntie, and so I am hoping that most of my time next month will be spent with my nephew. So, with that said, I like to start off with a reading for my singles, and then I move into a reading for my Aries couples. These are generalized readings, so not everything in the reading may pertain to you. I am available to answer any questions, as well as to do private readings, and I can be reached at mantraflowtarot@gmail.com. So, Aries, you are going through a period where we have the Seven of Wands, which you're feeling very careful, with the different directions that you're going. There's a situation that you're being very careful with how to proceed, kind of even tiptoeing around, which direction to take it. We do have the High Priestess, which indicates a very high emphasis on really trusting that inner instinct within. Listen to yourself. You will not steer yourself wrong in regards to this situation. Stay true to it. Trust that initial feeling that you have to bring it forth and help guide you through this situation. This situation is going to take work. We have the Nine of Wands. However, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's not going to be easy, but this situation will get worked through. Foundation of this situation is the King of Crystals, which indicates that this was an individual who had a lot of different layers underneath that I don't think that you were fully aware of. And we have the Four of Crystals, which indicates that this person, also had some very selfish, protective tendencies, and I think it made you feel like you were in the dark. And I think that this is a situation that you're still trying to work your way through. I think July just seems to be so far really working through things that we have gone through in the past. That way we can leave that way in the future we have that strong foundation for a new relationship to grow and thrive on. Now, the next card is the Serenity card, and this has to do with you in the environment of the future. Or, this has to do with your aspirations, you finding peace within yourself, you living within this really grounding state of the future, working through all of this. You want to be at peace. You want to be grounded. You want to be able to move through, this is like you stepping out of the dark and into the light, so to speak. Now, the next card is the Six of Cups. Now, this can indicate that somebody from your past coming into the future and you starting this relationship with this person. And which really seals the deal for me is the Ace of Cups, which really touches on the abundance of opportunity, that this new old love, so to speak, the opportunities that you could take this relationship in with this individual. But I think that, the key factors here within this reading, even though, you have somebody who's going to be re-entering into your life, is working through this situation that you're dealing with now and just listening to your inner voice. Your inner voice will guide you and lead you to the light, and you will ultimately find peace again. So with that said, I'm going to move into a reading for my couples. This deck is a little stiff. It's still rather new, but I love it. I am absolutely in love with it, even though it's a little stiff. It's getting easier though. Have to do a tarot haul. The Sacred Seed, I don't know if any of you ever watched the Sacred Seeds videos, but she is absolutely amazing. And one of these days, I'm going to do a tarot haul video where I go through all my decks to share with my YouTube friends. Okay, it's telling me to get with it. You have a lot of respect for this individual that you're in a relationship with. Oh, I like this reading. Okay, so the first card in this spread is the Page of Wands, and this represents what you're bringing into this relationship. You're very curious about exploring. You were very curious about exploring a relationship with this person. I want to say almost the curiosity of a child, so to speak, where you're just learning and absorbing all this new information that you possibly can about this person. This was somebody who I want to say was absolutely irresistible to you, and you just couldn't help but pursue it, like almost like you had no choice. Now, where you're at now in regards to this person is the Two of Cups, which has to do with, coming together, you two being very considerate of one another, seeing things through each other's perspective. There's a lot of understanding that you have, not to mention the depth of this emotional connection that you guys have together. Now, the next card is the Eight of Wands, and this is where you're hoping to take this relationship, and this is interesting. There are things that you feel stuck with, okay? But one of the things, the Eight of Wands, you're stuck, whatever, okay? We know that. But one of the things I love to touch on when I get an Eight of Wands is it's important to see others people's perspective, which is interesting because with the Two of Cups, this indicates that you're very considerate, but there's something that's going on right here where you are feeling very stuck in, your ways. Why is that? I mean, why are you feeling so stuck? This is something that needs to be explored. This is a position that's being held on your part. And ultimately, it's preventing, the relationship from moving forward. The next card is the Ace of Swords, which indicates what your partner is bringing into this relationship. You guys are both extremely intelligent, for one. But also, we have this curiosity that we have with the Page of Swords and this person's openness to, this is like an epiphany went off in his or her head in regards to this relationship. Now, where they're at now is the Seven of Crystals. This has to do, and I want you guys to envision somebody planting a seed and watching a garden grow from the seed. That is a perfect, I can't say it any better. That's where this person is at, in regards to this relationship, seeing where it grows, but also putting forth the energy, the time and energy to tend to this garden. Where this person is hoping to take this relationship is the Ten of Cups. This is the finish line, the ultimate emotional happiness in abundance. This person wants to continue to tend to this relationship. That way you reach this ultimate relationship goals, so to speak, okay? I'm a dork. Okay. The next card is the Akashic Records, and this is how you see your partner. This is an acknowledgement of he or she kind of going through some major shit, so to speak, and coming out on the other side, coming to the ultimate enlightenment and coming out, an enlightened being, so to speak. You have a lot of admiration and respect for this person. Now, how your partner sees you is the Chariot. Um, he or she sees you with focus, determination, courage. Um, I think that, you guys are a sappy couple who are just loving all over each other. We do have the Awakening card, which is the outcome, which has to do with overcoming certain situations that come along with any relationship. The peaks and valleys, the ups and downs. You can't have one without the other. Um, but you guys working through it. And I think the only issue that I really see within this reading right now is this feeling of being stuck, and it's on your end. So this is something that needs to be explored. However, it's something that, will be worked through. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me at mantraflowtarot@gmail.com. Thanks, you guys.